Happy Sunday, guys. October 20th, and the news of the day is I'm probably going to have to increase my forecast for Q4 domestic box office. The weekend numbers are in. Some new movies have been added to the Q4 schedule. Let's get right into the details. For the weekend of October 18th through October 20th, the domestic box office numbers are now in, estimated to finish the weekend just over $67 million. Smile 2, an excellent horror movie, maybe the best of the year, bringing in $23 million this weekend. Terrifier 3 holding strong at $9 million, bringing its total take for the quarter to $36 million domestic. Joker at $56 million, and Pharrell Williams' Piece by Piece bringing in only $7.6 million. This weekend we saw Smile 2 and Piece by Piece, both excellent movies. Highly recommend Smile 2 if you are a fan of horror films. 20 days into Q4 now, that brings the total domestic box office to just over $306 million. And I know that sounds like a really low number 20 days into the quarter, but it is exactly on track for where I thought that we would be, considering that most of the big movies for Q4 are loaded in beginning the middle of November. I do a lot of work before every quarter starts using the resources available to me to try and estimate what these movies are likely to bring in without overhyping the number. And if we scroll down on my spreadsheet and see where I thought that we would be by this point in time, you can see domestic, I had forecast $248 million by October 20th. And if we look at the actual numbers, $237 million, that's very close. Let's add in the $23 million from Smile 2. That actually puts us above where I thought we would be for this point into October. So we are right on track. The $65 million that I have here for Smile 2 is for its entire run over the next several weeks. We have had some movies that have been underperformers, Joker 2 and Piece by Piece. However, we have strong performance from other movies, especially the ones from Q3 that are still playing here in Q4. So we are right on track. And here is the even more surprising news. As I was reviewing all of the movies for Q4 again and getting some updates on pre-sales on the big tentpole movies, I saw that there have been several new movies added to Q4. So that $2.4 billion domestic box office forecast that I had for you guys last weekend, I'm going to now have to increase that forecast. Increase it for two reasons. Number one, there's been new movies in the past week added to Q4. So now I get to add additional revenue into my forecast. Number two, some of the big tentpole movies that I've been tracking are already far exceeding my expectations based on ticket sales that have already been booked. And so I have updated this spreadsheet today with the latest numbers. Keep in mind, these are just my own best estimates for myself as I'm deciding how to trade the different movie stocks. These may or may not be accurate, and I will update it weekly as the numbers come in. But let's look down and see what happened, what changed since I talked to you guys last week. If you see a box highlighted in green, like these three right here, these are new additions that weren't on the schedule last week. The Best Christmas Pageant Ever, the Sci-Fi Thriller Elevation, and the Action Adventure Overlord, The Sacred Kingdom. Those are three new additions to the November schedule. And then if we scroll down into December, we have two new titles. One of them is called September 5, and the other is The Fire Inside. Keep in mind that my spreadsheet here only tracks wide releases. There are many, maybe 100 other films in the quarter that are limited release. It's just too much for me to try and forecast everything. So I add a little bit of extra onto what you're going to see here on the spreadsheet to account for those limited releases. What does the new number look like based on current expectations for wide releases? $2.5 billion. $2.5 billion is the estimate I am working with now for wide releases. If you want to add in another 100, 200 million for limited releases, this number now might even exceed the high end of the range of my forecast for Q4. I was realistically expecting 2.4 billion. I had told you guys my range for Q4 was 2.4 to 2.6 billion. Based on having a much lower number here last week, now I'm looking at 2.5 billion just off of the wide releases. This could end up being a heck of a blowout quarter, and it's all going to happen in the last 6 weeks or so of this quarter. So it is going to be a wild ride. And I hope that my estimate comes close to being correct, because if it does, this is going to be a blowout quarter. Based on this number just for the wide releases and accounting for any variance, some movies are going to do better or worse than I forecast. And adding in the limited releases, I'm going to increase my estimate for Q4 now to between 2.5 and 2.7 billion dollars. I will say again, I do my best to source this information from reliable sources that are reporting free ticket sales, and I try not to overestimate, overhype, overpump the numbers. Some of you guys are already asking me again, what is the break even for AMC for Q4? Let's just hold our horses on that and wait 2 weeks and see the Q3 numbers. I'll be able to revalidate all of the numbers in my spreadsheet and calculate a break-even analysis for AMC in Q4, and then we can punch in these new Q4 estimates and predict what the potential positive earnings for AMC are going to be in Q4. This is my realistic expectation of where we're at right now and what I'm expecting for Q4. Let me know what you guys think. I know that this is probably going to be exciting news for some of you. It certainly was for me today. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. In my next video, I'm going to go over some TA expectations for AMC for the next week. I hope to see you on that one. I am Tony Denaro. Thank you for watching.